Great things, great things, great things. Welcome in to Words of the Higher Note, our space to reflect, reset, rise, and remember who we really are beneath the layers. I'm your host, Jay Lynn, and I'm glad you're here. Before we begin, a quick reminder. This isn't therapy or medical advice. It's a moment to pause and reconnect with yourself. If you are ever in need of support, please reach out to someone you trust. This reflection is titled, Wait, what was I saying? It is our Dear John letter to brain fog. Before we go further, I want to be clear. This reflection isn't about medical or long-term memory conditions. It's about those everyday lapses that happen when we're tired, cluttered, or stretched too thin. The kind of forgetfulness that reminds us to slow down, rest, and refocus, not something clinical or permanent. Imagine you're frantically searching for your glasses. You check the table, the desk, the counter, your pockets. You retrace your steps, only to realize they are on your face. You've been wearing them the entire time. Can you relate? How many times has this or something similar happened to you in the last, 3 months? We chuckle when this happens, but it opens the door to a deeper conversation about our short-term memory and how easily it falters when we're tired, stretched thin, overloaded, or out of balance. And this is because we haven't given our minds a moment to breathe, or we haven't given our bodies enough rest. Now, what can we do to overcome this? How can we solve this? And everything I'm sharing comes from my own lived experiences. And also know that I am the first person to laugh at myself, and you may hear me laughing during this reflection. Many of us have had at least one of these moments. Looking for your phone while you're talking on it, searching for your car key when you're in the car and the car is turned on, putting an item down and immediately losing it, or not remembering where it's at. Let's go with that one. One of this week's occurrences. I'm about to leave the house. I put my phone down on the kitchen counter and then left the house without it. I was down the block before I realized I left my phone. Now, of course, the first thought is to go back and get it, because we have conditioned ourselves to think that we can't move throughout this world without this tracker that gives everyone immediate and constant access to us. But I didn't go back. I was with my son and he had his phone. And it was actually quite nice to not have that phone with me. And last week, I was looking for my stand-up mirror. I'm thinking, I know I have seen this mirror recently, but I could not find it. Days later, I am sitting on the sofa and turn right. And what's looking at me? The mirror. All I could do was laugh out loud. And I don't know if I looked on the table. I actually hope I did not. However, it was clearly visible, and I had to have walked past it while looking for it. Just yesterday, I saw someone I've known for over 25 years, and I wanted to introduce them to the person I was with. And as I was introducing, I almost went blank on their name. And I say almost because all I could remember was the first syllable of their name. So I introduced with titles. This is so-and-so, this is so-and-so. Because I was not going to slip up and let this person, again, who I have known for 25 years, know that I forgot their name in that moment. Thankfully, they shared their own names. And let's not speak about sharing a story and forgetting the main point. This occurs for me the most. When I'm telling a story, I have to give background information. I'm a detailed person, so I have to give a backstory that leads up to the front story. But by the time I'm done giving the background details, I have forgotten what I was talking about in the front. Tell me you can relate. Thankfully, my recall has become better since I started taking a magnesium supplement. And I'm not saying I don't forget. I'm saying I recall faster. And moments like these make me laugh. And if you've been there too, hopefully you probably laugh as well. And this is our short-term memory in motion or momentarily missing in action. Yes, it goes MIA on us. And usually it happens when we are distracted, multitasking, anxious, sleep deprived. That's me. I'm the poster child for that one. Or we are mentally cluttered. And no, young people, this isn't an age thing. Because people in their 30s, their 20s, their 40s have moments when their working memory may be snoozing on them. And now what do you think we can do or should do about this? Well, one, we could start completing tasks and or eliminating tasks that aren't necessary. We can stop being so busy that we're not functioning efficiently. And when I'm speaking with my age peers and we're talking about our working memory not working, we realize just how common it is. And we laugh and we laugh and we laugh. And then we begin to list all the things that's going on in our life, which are also known as the reasons why we can't remember where our glasses are, or the cell phone, or the note we just wrote. And what makes these moments powerful is what they reveal. That our mind can be full and yet not focused. And when our mind is not focused, we are not at our fullest. We're not operating at our true potential. It's like we're in a cycle of dysfunction. And we may become upset with ourselves because it seems as if we cannot get off that wheel that's going nowhere. We stay in a loop doing the same thing over and over and over again. And guess what? We are expecting different results. How does that work? And you may say, what's the same thing? Well, you have to decide what that thing is for you. For me, it's the lack of adequate sleep, mainly. It's also being distracted, getting caught up in the video loop online. I'm actively working on reducing my time of watching these videos. Some are very helpful. I might say others are not so helpful. Or speaking on the phone for too long. It is my goal to have the majority of my conversations while I am driving. And the reason is because if I'm driving and speaking on the phone, I'm not taking away from anything I can be doing in the house. And yeah, you may say, okay, multitask. I used to love multitasking. I used to wear it like a badge of honor that I could actually effectively do multiple things at the same time. And again, not at the same time, but around the same time period. But that's not the case anymore. And I have to be real with that. And the key word in all of this is effectively. And my goal is to complete one task before moving on to the next task. And this will definitely be a task worth accomplishing. I'm working on that as well. And the goal for all of us is to get to a point where we are operating at our fullest potential. Now, short-term memory is like the brain sticky note. It helps us remember little things for a short time, like a phone number, a task you are about to do, or where we left that elusive phone. But that note can get lost easily if there's too much going on. And let's look at 5 situations that can impact our working memory and cause it to not work at an optimal level. Number 1, information overload. Too many tabs open in our mind, trying to remember too much. Full disclosure here. When I first wrote this reflection, I decided to count how many tabs I had open on my desktop. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Within 3 browsers. Don't ask about that one either. When I counted, I had 120 tabs open. I know, close your mouth. I know, because your mouth dropped open. Because mine dropped open when I counted. I have since closed some, 68 to be exact, and now have 52 open. Still a lot, but it's progress. That's a 57% decrease. That's progress. And I intentionally closed, after counting, I intentionally closed all tabs that were duplicated across all of the browsers. And any tab that I was not working on that day, or within a couple of days, it wasn't just that day, within a couple of days, I closed. Any tab that I couldn't remember why I even had it open, I closed. Now and again, I still have some work to do because I need to get it down. That was my desktop down to 52. I still have tabs open on my phone and my iPad. But I will say that I am intentionally closing these tabs on a daily basis, more than once a day. I am closing tabs because it doesn't make sense. And the question is why? Why do I have all these tabs open? Why do you have so many tabs open? And if I can give reasoning to this, there's multiple projects I'm working on, and each one requires the use of different tabs that I will go back to eventually. And as I was editing to update the number of tabs now open, the thought came up that I keep the tabs open to remember where I was, where I needed to be, and what I was working on. Listen, I knew there was reasoning behind that, having all those tabs open. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. But let me just say that there has to be another way, because I can't use them all at the same time. It doesn't make sense to have so many tabs open. And even though it may seem logical at the moment, but there must be a better way for me to remember my place. There has to be a better way. Because all of those tabs open, all over the place, is a form of clutter. And I don't know how many tabs I would need to have open to say that this isn't clutter. But I think that I'm going to make my marker. I'm working on one task, one project at a time, and whatever the number of tabs I need for that one project, that one task, will be my marker. And I don't want to pigeonhole myself and say, okay, well, only 10, when I may need 15 for this particular project or task. So it's going to be whatever I need for that task or that project will be my markers. It won't be a set number. And 2, stress. When it lingers for too long, it can weigh on and cloud the part of our mind that helps us focus, helps us remember clearly, and helps us recall. And I ask, what are we stressing about? There's a saying, if you're going to pray, don't worry. If you're going to worry, don't pray. It's in the Bible. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6 and 7. If we can't do anything about what we are stressing over, then don't worry about it, because it's out of your hands. But if you can do something about it, then do it, because that's in your hands. And I know that's easier said than done. I know that. But we must adapt this bold attitude to accomplish what we need and want to accomplish. We can't keep making excuses and let that be the foundation of us staying where we are. The third situation that can impact our memory, lack of sleep. That's me. As I said, I am the poster child for this. Sleep is not just sleeping. A lot goes on. When we rest, our brain does magic. It's like a cleaning crew, tidying up our thoughts, clearing away what's no longer helping or what's no longer needed, helping to process what matters so we can make room for new connections. We wake up refreshed and we remember better. And our brain is quietly organizing memories and emotions while we sleep. All of this work is happening in the background. Who knew all of this? I didn't. Did you? Yes, I know that we should rest. We should get adequate rest. I know that. I definitely knew that. But I didn't know the details behind what actually goes on while we are resting. And I have started going to bed earlier. I have. It's not every day. But I am making a conscious effort to sleep more. And I have to tell myself that no matter what's going on, if I'm home, that no matter what is happening, that I really need to go to sleep at a certain time. And I don't know if it's like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, but I need to go to sleep. I will also say that my body, because it knows what it needs, I can be sitting in a chair and I go to sleep. And you know what? I give into it. I don't force it. I don't force myself to stay awake. I give into when my body says it needs to rest. And again, it's not every day that I'm getting the adequate amount of sleep, because not sleeping is a bad habit that I've had probably the majority of my life. I can remember as a child, maybe 9, 10, 11 years old, just staying up. I'm a night owl. That's the word I've been carrying with me all these years. Maybe I should stop saying that. Maybe I should leave that alone. And I don't know if it has to do with something. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I was born in the evening. I don't know. But it is a habit that I have to break. And I'm working on changing my relationship with sleep. Because I can see and I can feel the effect that not sleeping an adequate number of hours is having on my body. And again, this may be something I chuckle at, but it's something that I am taking a little serious. And this is what happens when you mature in age. And number 4, poor nutrition or hydration. Our mind needs fuel, real fuel that sustains us, not just fills us, which translates to it doesn't need fast food or junk food. And did you know that even if you drink the recommended amount of water daily, that you could still be dehydrated? Why? Right? Because they don't tell us. They just tell us drink water. That's all. Drink water, drink water, drink water. But they don't say why. They don't say what else we need. But our body needs more than water. It needs electrolytes. And then you can go and research what electrolytes are and what your body needs. And number 5, emotional overwhelm. Whether it's excitement, sadness, or stress, these can make it harder for us to focus and think clearly. Now that we have a few clues as to why our brain fog is so foggy when we are running on empty, what can we do to change this narrative? And now, everyone is different. And what works for me probably will not work for you. Again, I'm sharing my personal experiences. And here are 6 strategies that work for me. The first thing is I pay close attention to my body. And I take note of what it's telling me. Like, for instance, if I have, let's say, a headache, for instance, I go back like, okay, what did you consume recently that could be causing the headache? Or maybe, what haven't you consumed? Maybe I need to put fuel in me. So I pay close attention. And when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I center myself. I become mindful of what's happening. What's going on around me? What am I doing? What am I attempting to do that could bring these feelings of being overwhelmed? So what I do, I take a deep breath. I inhale through my nose. I hold it. And then I exhale through my mouth. And this is, again, it's just to kind of take me someplace else. And I may have to do this more than once to get the effect of what I'm trying to do. I write things down. And I write things down because I don't want to lose the thought. And I use my phone. I use paper. I use my planners. And when I say I use papers, I would not say follow that. Only because when I say I use papers, it's whatever paper is nearby me. Because again, there's an urgency to me having to write it down. And so I'll use whatever's there. And then initially when I started doing this, I would write it down, but I wouldn't give any context to it. I wouldn't put a date. It was just I was writing it down. Then I would go back and see it. I'm like, well, what is this? So then I had to start giving it some more information. I put a date, sometimes a time. And then I have to give it some context. Why am I writing this? So that when I go back or when I see it again, I'm not having to stress my brain too much with trying to figure out what this is, because I've already put the context on it. So I would suggest you do that. I suggest using a planner or a notebook, and something that's not too bulky, something you can carry with you, even if you have like a pocket notebook. Because when we're out and about, things come to us. Or if you want to use your phone, use the notepad in your phone. or even text yourself a message, whatever works for you. Don't make it too much. Don't, whatever works for you. Let me just say that, because what works for you is not going to work for me, and vice versa. And did you know that just by writing our thoughts down, this action alone gives our brain permission to let go. Let it go. Of not having to remember. And it frees up space. We need to let it go. But in terms of writing it down, let it go. Don't just let it go and forget about it. Write it down. And use visual clues. Leave your keys next to the door. Put a note on the door with a checklist if you have to. Put a note on the mirror in the bathroom or in your bedroom. Wherever you're going to see what you need to do, then that's what you do. Again, what works for you. And what I started doing so that I don't forget, if I'm going out and I need more than my phone, my wallet, my glasses, and my keys, I gather everything on my bed usually. And then I'll pack my bag. Now, does this work all the time? No. But it does work most of the time. And that's what I'm going for. And the third strategy, we're going to declutter mentally and physically. Oh my goodness. Because chaos in our physical space often reflects chaos in our mental space. And we could probably reverse that as well. If there's chaos in our mental space, it probably means that if we look around, there's chaos in our physical space, because they work hand in hand. So we're going to start decluttering. I've already started. We're going to start decluttering. We're going to declutter our bags. We're going to declutter our desk. We're going to declutter our drawers, our rooms, our car. Whatever has clutter in it, we're going to declutter. Because our goal is to have a clear thinking. That's the goal. And once we declutter our physical space, the air in the rooms around us will feel much better. It will flow and it will feel much better. And we'll be able to think a little clearer. And we're going to get rid of clothing that we're not using, that no longer fits us because it's too small or it's too big. Don't keep clothing that you have outgrown because you say, oh, I'm going to go back to that size. Because that puts some pressure on you that you don't necessarily need. So get rid of the clothing. If you've been a certain size for, let's say, 3 months or so, that's your size. And get rid of the clothing because other people may need it. So you're going to donate, you're going to sell, but don't keep it. And we're going to let me just say, I'm saying that, but I have 3 pairs of pants in my closet that I purchased in either 2014 or 2015. 3 pairs of pants. One still has the tag on it, which means I never worn them. The other 2 I may have worn once or twice. But again, I haven't worn them in at least 10 years. At least 10 years. So what am I going to do with them? Either I'm going to sell them, because they're brand new pants and they're very nice quality pants. Either I'm going to sell them or I'm going to add them to my wardrobe. And books. We have a lot of books in our house. A lot of books. My daughter is a bibliophile. Go look that up because I had to. And so she has a lot of books. A lot of books. And books that she's going to keep. And we're at the point now that they have outgrown her room. They're spilling over into the family room. So we have one shelf there. We need to purchase more shelves so the books can come out of her room. And one of the things that she does is she sells her books on Pango Books. She also donates books. We have in our neighborhood, we have what they call little free libraries. And they're in different spots in the neighborhood. And what people do, books that they no longer want, they go and they put the books in the books that they're donating, and they put them in these little free libraries. And people in the neighborhood go and they could do one or two things. They can borrow the book, meaning they can read it and bring it back, or they can take it and keep. There's no obligation to bring it back. And shoes. If you have shoes that you haven't worn, they can be brand new shoes. They can be shoes that don't fit anymore. They can be shoes that you no longer like. Don't hold on to them. Again, sell them, give them away. As far as the books, let's go back to the books for a moment. You can also donate your books to a local library or school. And your papers. Oh my goodness. Papers. Let's file these papers. When things come in the mail, you're not obligated to keep those papers that come in the mail. So this is one of the things we do. Thankfully, our mail slot is in our garage. So when I go get the mail, if there's any of those advertisements, anything that doesn't have our name on it, I immediately put it in a bag, or I put it someplace that it's not coming into the house. That's one. Now, the next step is to take the bag and put it in the garbage, but I'm working on that. Then there's the paper that comes in, or the envelopes that come in that have our name on it, but it's still an advertisement. It's still, we don't need it. So what I'll do is I put that on the shredder, or I shred. Then there's the third pile, is the mail that we are actually going to engage with. It could be a bill. It could be a letter about something that we're actually going to engage with. So then we take, and it gets dispersed to whoever it belongs to. And we hopefully file it. That's what we need to do. We need to get to the point of filing it. This is a bill. It needs to go in the bill folder for that particular company. But get rid of the paper. And I am making a declaration. It is the beginning of November. And I am making a declaration right now for all to hear that my home, and when I say my home, I mean the inside of the home, I mean the garage, I also mean our storage unit that is housing a lot of our things, which I'm going to clear out because what we pay a month is ridiculous. And my mind will be clutter-free by December 31st, 2025. Because I refuse to enter the new year in clutter heaven. And as physically and mentally, I am refusing. I am rebuking that. No, I don't want that going into the new year. Now, I'm going to ask you to check on me. I don't want an accountability partner, but I want you to check on me. So again, I said it's November 4th. On November 30th, that's 26 days from now, I want you to email me at jlynn@wordsonaHigherNote.com. And if you know me personally, then you can call me or text me and ask me about my progress. That's all. So how's your progress going with decluttering? Now, I asked you to do it by November 30th because if I am not where I want to be in my decluttering journey, I have another 31 days to get there. So I ask you, just check in on me on November 30th. How's it going, Jalen? Joyce, how's it going? All right. And number 4, we're going to hydrate, we're going to nourish, and we're going to rest. All of these things our body needs because we cannot pour from an empty cup. We can't. We can't efficiently or effectively pour from an empty cup. We have to give our body what it needs. We have to establish a healthy diet, and we have to go to sleep earlier. And I'm saying this to you, but I am talking to me. And number 5, laugh at yourself. Seriously, laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself so seriously that you become this negative nanny towards yourself. And the more grace you give yourself, the less stress you may have. And when we laugh, endorphins are released in the body, and it boosts the immune system and improves heart health. Who doesn't need that? We all need that. And I laugh. Normally, I laugh a lot. That's just who I am. But after learning this, I may add some on purpose laughter to my day. And number 6, we're going to take supplements. Our food doesn't contain the nutrients it once did. The nutrients we need is non-existent for most of the food. And maybe if you're growing heirloom vegetables and fruit in your home, maybe, you have a better shot at real nutrition. But for most of us, that isn't the case. And you can walk down the health aisle in the supermarket, and the shelves are packed with supplements. When I was younger, I don't remember there even being a health food store. But now we got health food stores all over the place. And why? Because our bodies, or the food that we are consuming, does not contain the nutrients that we need. The food is subpar that we have access to. Even the organic is not 100%. But, I want you to research what is best for you. And also know that what was best for you as a 20-year-old, a 40-year-old, 60-year-old, it changes. That's what I want to say. It changes. What was best for you when you were 20 is not the same when you were 40. And we just have to know that our body changes and we have to change with it. And as I mentioned earlier, I started taking a magnesium supplement. I think it was like April or May. And it was mainly for focus. It was only for focus. Not mainly, it was only for focus. And within a few days, I noticed a difference. My recall was recalling, and in less time. Because before I started taking the magnesium, there were many times I wasn't recalling at all. I could start something, I could start saying something, and then I would venture off because, again, I'm trying to give background information. And then I would get lost. I was like, and the thought wouldn't come back. Like what I was initially trying to say wouldn't come back. But after I started taking the magnesium supplement, I feel lighter and clearer in my thoughts. And again, this is what worked for me. I'm not suggesting or advertising or advising you at all. And just know that forgetting something small doesn't mean you are failing. It means you're human. We live in a world where constant noise is our background. That's our theme song. That's what's happening. That's what we dance to, the constant noise. And because something is always going on, we have all these screens. We have the computer, the laptop, the tablet, the cell phone, the TV. Not to mention the games that we play. I don't play any of them, but I know about them. The Xbox, the what is it? PlayStation, the Wii, Nintendo, all of that. Something is always available to us. Something is always on. And we can always just reach for something. And the world doesn't sleep anymore. I remember when I was much younger, things would shut down. The stores would close. The TV stations would go off at a certain time. I don't know if it's like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock a.m. And you could turn the TV on, but you wasn't going to get a picture. It was like this. It was like white noise. Now, we have 24-hour stores. The cable stations that are on forever. We have the internet that, again, is on forever. And we live in a world with constant movement. And we have to consciously turn off the world so that we can rest. It's okay. It's okay. And then we have responsibilities and expectations that can become overwhelming. We have people who are expecting us to be whoever we are to them. It could be spouse, parent, child, sibling, friend, coworker, business partner. It's like all of this may be a lot for us to handle and to juggle at certain points in our life. So if you have ever walked into a room and forgotten why you're there, if you have ever reread a sentence multiple times before it sank in, if you have ever searched for your glasses while wearing them, you are in great company. And the next time you have one of those moments, don't panic. Don't think bad of yourself. pause, laugh about it, and reset. And remind yourself, I'm not forgetful, I'm just full. And then choose to empty out a little. And that could mean creating some form of art. It could be journaling. It could mean taking a walk. It could mean saying no to something that pulls you or pulls too much from you. Whatever it is, give yourself space to remember what matters. And that what I'm going to change to who matters. And that's you. Before we close, I invite you to take this moment further. If something awakened in you, a thought, a feeling, a moment of clarity, share this reflection with someone else. Again, this is not therapy or medical advice. I am sharing my own lived experiences. Thank you for tuning into Words on a Higher Note, where reflection meets elevation, where grace meets growth, where personal evolution is not rushed, but embraced, honored, and celebrated. Until next time, keep listening to the higher note. Say, be, and it is.